You can turn the knobs on any device, and it shows me what I'm controlling. You won't find this on other controllers. In this video, I'm exploring a brand new controller for Ableton, Logic, Bitwig, Cubase, Izotope RX, Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, DaVinci, OBS Studio. If I keep going, this video is going to be too long. This is the Loupedeck CT, a customizable controller for so many creative applications, and it's got a touch screen, multiple touch screens. The Loupedeck CT is a super cool controller for multiple applications. It's got profiles for so much stuff if you're a video editor, photo editor, and of course, a music producer. Today, I'll go through everything I love about the Loupedeck CT and some issues too. Later in the video, I'll talk to my brother-in-law who's a photographer to find out what he thinks about using Loupedeck for photo editing. The CT version of the Loupedeck isn't cheap, but it does so much. So is it something worth saving up for? Let's find out. If you're new around here, I'm SanjayC. I've got tons of videos about music production, gear reviews, and tutorials on my channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I always try to get straight to the good stuff in all my videos and reviews. Loupedeck makes several devices for controlling and editing applications like Ableton Live and Logic. I've got the CT version here, and there's also the Live version, which isn't just for Ableton Live, it's for lots of other programs as well. The CT version here is the larger one. The Live version actually cuts this off right here, but the rest of it is just the same. So many of the best features I show you today are available in that version as well. I'll put links to the Loupedeck devices in the video description below. The Loupedeck CT device itself is super premium. It really exceeded my expectations in build quality. The whole thing feels sturdy and well made. The screens are bright and clear. Now, the screens are not retina level resolution, but totally good enough. There is haptic feedback, which is nice, again, adding to that premium feel. You press a button and you get a little buzz right back to your finger to signal that you've pressed something. Now, sometimes there is a slight delay with that haptic feedback, but I don't know, it's a nice to have feature, so I can even do without it. The knobs at the top of the CT are ratchety, so they're a little clicky when you turn them, which is nice. The big knob below is smooth when you turn it, and there's a screen in the middle of the knob. It changes depending on your application in color. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, what can it control by default? Let's look at the default Ableton template first, and then I'll look at Logic. For Logic, they have a custom template that you can download. Okay, I've opened Ableton Live, and what's nice is that Loupedeck knows what application you have active, and it changes the commands based on that app. Right away on the big knob screen, you have play, stop, record, transport controls, and you can move from track to track in session view with the knob, or scrub the timeline in arrangement view. I love the session control it gives you, especially that it gives you the stop all clips button right in front. I always want this button on any controller, and so many controllers don't include it. Now, clip triggering is nice, not as tactile as an Ableton Push or a traditional controller, but don't forget, this does a lot more than a traditional controller. Now, just like a traditional controller, you have device control in Ableton. Select this page and you can turn the knobs and have it control any device. Now, the Loupedeck is limited to these 6 knobs, but what you get is awesome. Check it out. It can move from one device to the next, and it shows me what I'm controlling. You won't find this on hardly any other controllers out there. There are several pages of controls, and you can switch them easily with the row of numbered buttons. In Logic, you've got a lot of commands too. Now, Loupedeck doesn't come with a default profile for Logic like it does for Ableton, but they have a custom profile, which I guess is kind of like a community-created profile, if I'm correct. It still works well. Play, stop, record, it's all there. There's a button or knob for pretty much every command in Logic. Editing the templates or creating custom buttons is a big job. It's not too hard to do, but there are so many options and commands to choose from. I think it's best to use Loupedeck for a while in default mode and then add what you think is missing from your workflow later. This is my brother-in-law, Kudrat, who is an amazing photographer. Actually, he's the one who told me to look into the Loupedeck CT. What do you use the Loupedeck for?
Primarily, I use it for Lightroom. Originally, I was ordering the Loupedeck Plus for myself, just for photography editing, and I've heard a lot about it. And when I was researching it, I came across the Loupedeck CT. Then the Loupedeck CT got me a little excited, and when I saw it was compatible with Ableton, I knew exactly who to recommend it to. And that's how we got here.
What do you think about it so far?
The build quality is premium. I love the knobs and buttons. The haptic feedback on the touchscreen is very nice.
I love that.
Yeah, having the buttons and knobs designated to do what I want them to do, it just increased my workflow. It made the whole process more fun. Before, with the mouse and the sliders and focusing too much on the numbers, and it got a little lost in translation, like, okay, this looks good, but should it be a different number? And with this, I just found myself looking at the picture and at the turn of a dial, that looks great, leave it alone.
Thanks for sharing your experience with it. Check out his Instagram too. I'll put the link somewhere here too, so you can check out his awesome photography.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
So would I trade another MIDI controller for this? Well, I definitely don't want to get rid of my keyboard controllers. Sure, I need those keys, but this gives me something really unique, a small form factor with a lot of visual feedback, and I can use it to speed up my video editing as well. Having all that in one device that doesn't take up much space is really helpful. Now, becoming efficient with using this takes a while, breaking old habits and developing new ones, right? But it may be worth it for you. The Loupedeck CT is a big commitment price-wise, but I think the Loupedeck Live, the smaller version, is a great device for the price. The Loupedeck CT right here retails for $549, and the Loupedeck Live is just $269. It's a great time to be a producer, to have so many cool devices to control your DAW. As many controllers as I've tried, this is one that I'm very interested in learning how to use more and more. I say learning because this is a departure from my normal workflow, but I think it's worth the time investment. I do find the response slow at times if I'm running big projects. Moving from pages, seeing the buttons update takes a second or two at times. If Loupedeck continues to invest in improving the software, I think they've got a very promising device for musicians, photo editors, video editors, and whatever else this device does in the future. If you're interested in buying the Loupedeck devices, I'll add links to the video description. If you like learning about the Loupedeck in this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Keep making the music you love, and I will see you guys soon.